enormous power, air conditioning, remote control, electric car, renewable energy, solar power, solar panels, water wheel, wind turbines, diagram, produce, promise, destroy, message, factory workers, pollution, especially, surprised, frightened, green, ability, the Iron Woman, web post, truck, totally, inexpensive, screen, heating, accident, horrible, superhero, roof, fridge, reduce, absorb, ski, plan. Enormous, huge, massive, tiny, small, destroy, finish, end, damage, build, repair, produce, make, create, consume, right, true, correct, wrong, frightened, scared, safe, inexpensive, cheap, expensive, easy, simple, difficult, hard, agree, accept, disagree, turn on, switch on, turn off, inexpensive, pollution, worker, totally, especially, surprised, frightened, find an answer to, once more, keep your house cool, save electricity, be able to, get used to, worried about, on the roof, be friends with, work at the end of, look at, come from, move around, give up, travel from one place to another, bring, brought, let. The Iron Woman. One day, a girl called Lucy was surprised to see the Iron Woman. She was enormous with big red eyes. Lucy was frightened, but she found that the woman wanted Lucy to help her. Lucy's father worked at a factory, and the Iron Woman asked her where the factory was. Pollution from the factory was killing all the fish in the river, so she wanted to destroy it. The Iron Woman had special powers so that she was able to make all the factory workers become fish. The workers all had to live in the river and started to understand how difficult life was for the fish. Lucy wanted to help the Iron Woman, but she was worried about her father. So, after the Iron Woman left, Lucy called a boy called Hogarth. He was friends with the Iron Man. If you brought the Iron Man here, said Lucy, we could find an answer to the problem. The next day, Lucy met Hogarth and the Iron Man at the factory. When the Iron Woman arrived, the Iron Man told her that he had a plan soon. The Iron Woman let them become people again. They could stay people if they promised that the factory would not produce any more pollution. They all agreed, and the river became clean once more. What do you do to help the environment? Have you given up something? We're using the air conditioning less often. In summer, when it's very hot, that's difficult, especially at night, but you get used to it. We can't use our computer less often though, because we need it for work. Dom and Julia, Baldwin, USA. I always used to get the newest phone. I have stopped doing that now because it isn't sustainable. Oh, and now I use rechargeable batteries for the TV remote control and my computer mouse. Susan, Egypt. I live in the country and I need to have a car. I bought an electric car because it's greener. Also, I always take a reusable bag when I go shopping. Greta, Australia. We're going to give up living in the city because we want to grow up our own vegetables and live a simpler life. If we stayed in the city, we wouldn't be able to do that. A large factory in Denmark has an inexpensive way of producing renewable energy. It burns rubbish. If the factory did not burn the rubbish, it would go to landfill sites. By burning the rubbish, the factory produces enough electricity for 150,000 homes. If the factory burned fossil fuels to make his electricity, it would produce a lot more greenhouse gases. There is a garden on the roof of the factory. The plants there absorb some of the air pollution that comes from the factory. You can also ski down the roof. Isn't that amazing? What did you think of the story, Dina? I liked it. I think the message is easy to understand. Factories should not produce pollution. I agree. The Iron Woman wanted to destroy the factory. I don't think that's right. If we didn't have factories, we wouldn't have so many things to buy in the shops. That's why the Iron Man had a different plan. He didn't want to destroy the factory. I didn't like his plan. Some of the factory workers probably didn't like the pollution, but if they didn't work at the factory, they wouldn't have any money. But Judy, when they became people again, they promised that the factory would not produce any more pollution. So his plan was a good one. That's true. How do you think they made the river clean once more? Perhaps the factory started to use renewable energy. You're right, if the factory used renewable energy, it wouldn't produce pollution, and if it didn't produce pollution, then everyone would be happier. Hannah, have you seen this diagram of what uses most electricity in the home? No, I haven't. What does it say, Angie? It says that air conditioning and heating use the most electricity. In fact, these use nearly 50% of the home's electricity. That's a lot. What uses the second most? Hot water. That uses about 15% of the home's electricity. What about things in the kitchen? Don't they use much electricity? They don't use very much. The fridge and the oven both use about 4%. That's interesting. And what about the TV and computers? Televisions use about 3% and computers about 1%. Okay, so if I wanted to save electricity, I'd use less air conditioning and heating. That's right. Oh, and turn off the lights too. They use about 12% of the house's electricity.